Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jay and today I am joined by my handsome husband Tom and we are filming a Q&A for my 100th YouTube video. Before we get into the Q&A, I just want to say quickly that I'm so grateful for all of you who are watching this and for the support that you've provided me with. It's amazing to me, even more so than, because I just recently put up another video for hitting a year. I've been doing YouTube for over a year now, but to hit my 100th video is really huge for me because time passes either way, but for me to have created 100 videos, that shows me that this is something that I really am passionate about, that I enjoy doing, and that I've been able to do for long enough to have 100 videos now, and that's really exciting. And I appreciate all of you for watching this one and any of the others that you've watched in the past, and I can't wait to create 100 more. So thank you for that. But I'm really excited about doing a Q&A. I've never done one before, but I've always wanted to do one. I love watching other people's Q&As. I think they're a great way to get to know people, and it gives you guys a great opportunity to ask questions that you may be curious that maybe you haven't heard me talk about. So we're gonna go through these, and I've got Tom with me. Some of these questions are for him, and then at the end we have a question for each other. I have one for him and he has one for me. I'm not going to say who asked the questions. I will do that in the future, but some of these questions came from our friends. One of the questions is from my mom, so I'm not gonna do that this time, but in the future I will. Yeah, so we're gonna jump right into this. So the very first question that I got wasn't a question, but it says recipe book, please. And I thought that was really sweet. I definitely would like to do a cookbook someday. What an honor that would be to be able to do something like that and to have the following where I feel like it would be successful. And I often do kind of make mental notes of recipes that I would potentially put in a cookbook if I did one, but I'm nowhere near that right now. But I think it's really sweet that you'd be interested in that. Next up, I got a lot of questions about chickens, so I'm actually just gonna kind of briefly tell you about them. I have 5 chickens. I have 1 Buff Orpington, 2 Barred Rocks, and 2 Black Australorps. All egg layers, all brown egg layers, kind of run-of-the-mill normal colored eggs. They are named. I've got Buffy, Amelia, Agatha, and then I have the Connies because the Barred Rocks look just alike. I can't tell them apart. And they're wonderful. I love having them. Am I going to get more chickens this year? No. I have 5. They're doing a great job. Technically, my coop could hold 15, but Tom and I have both said that would be really pushing it. I would not want to have 15 chickens in that coop. I think max I would maybe do 8, which means I could get 3 more chickens, and I may do that next year. If we are able to eventually move to a bigger property, obviously that would change, and I'd get a lot more chickens. It would just depend on the circumstances. So yeah, those are my chicken facts for you. The next question is actually for Tom, and it is Tom ready to be a farmer?
Uh, I grew up in the city, so I don't know if I'll ever be ready to be a farmer. But I am willing to support and help with farming.
Oh, I love that. That's a good answer. That's
Be-
a really good way of putting it.
because I'm so awesome.
It's true, you are. The next question comes from my friend Rebecca, and I think that she was just being cute, but I'm gonna include it anyway because it gives me an opportunity to kind of talk about something. She said, can we move to Montana and do homesteading together? And I think that was really sweet. And I actually had another conversation with somebody that I'm friends with on Instagram about Montana, and he was trying to convince me to move to Montana. And I just wanna say that we live in upstate New York, and we've talked about moving. We kind of know where we would want to go. We'd be very interested in moving to Asheville, North Carolina. We've done a lot of research. We've looked at houses. Back when they were mandating the booster for the vaccine, he had gotten a job offer in North Carolina, and I was prepared to lose my healthcare job because I did not want to get that booster. And so we almost thought maybe that it was going to happen, but it ended up not happening. And I just want to say that we are open to moving, but we're not going to move unless we feel very strongly like we're supposed to. If a path opened up and I felt that it was God's will for us to move somewhere else, then we would follow that. But unless we feel incredibly led to leave upstate New York, I think we would stay. All of our families here, all of our friends are here. That's not to say that we wouldn't move, but it'd have to be the right situation for us to move. Would you agree with that?
I would move.
Yeah, would you move?
Yes, but
Now,
I mean,
what would it take for you to move? Like, what would that have to look like for you to move? Like, so it'd have to be the right situation, right? Like, you'd have to get like just the right job offer. We'd have to find just the right property.
oh yes,
Like, it'd all have to like fall in place, right?
yeah. I mean, it would have to first off where,
Yeah.
second off, like job, like
Right.
it's a new life. So it just if an opportunity that it was like not able to say no to,
Right.
I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But then yes, but that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. So next up, I had a question. What initially inspired you to start gardening? And I thought about this question. These have been asked over the course of a couple days, so I've been able to kind of think on these. And I actually have a really deep answer for this one. I grew up, my parents always had a small garden, and so I've been around gardening, but I wouldn't say that that's what inspired me to garden. I thought about this a lot. I started gardening on my own when I was 19. And I was in a relationship that wasn't great, and I was living a life that I didn't love, and a lot of things felt very out of control for me. And I think I started gardening because it made me feel like I had something that I could control. It made me feel like this was mine. I could do what I wanted with it. I didn't have to deal with anybody else's decisions or inputs or anything like that, and it was mine. And I definitely, reflecting on that, think that that's what inspired me to start gardening. Somebody asked, what is your favorite thing to preserve? Definitely sauce. I absolutely love having my own sauce that I can just pull off the shelf and throw into pasta or chicken parm or whatever I want to make. I think it's so cool that I don't have to buy it from the store, and that not only did I preserve it, but I grew everything in it. I just think that is so freaking cool. I know that I'm really new to like canning and using the vacuum sealer and stuff like that, but does anything come to mind for my preserved foods that you've tasted and that you've liked? I don't know that you would have an answer to that though, because I put that stuff into dishes. So I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Whatever you cook is good.
Thanks. All right. How much involvement does Tom want to have in homesteading? So Tom and I talked about this question a little bit ago. And so farming and homesteading to me are different. They can often be used hand in hand, but to me they are different. Farming to me is more animal and land management, whereas homesteading is more in the home. Sorry, you're definitely going to hear our animals being crazy. So for homesteading, that's a lot of the cooking from scratch, baking from scratch, preserving, having an efficient household. Gardening falls under that, I think. And so I kind of gave Tom that description, and then he has his answer. So what level of involvement do you want to have with homesteading, not so much farming?
I guess with the homesteading is what you need built. I'll
Yeah.
be the man behind the camera, building the fences, building the
raised garden
boxes, and the maintenance guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I will probably be involved in. I won't be involved in really anything else too much, unless she needs help, because I like to help.
That's what's so great about him, and I appreciate it so much. He isn't interested in it in the same way that I am, so it's not necessarily that he'd ever take the initiative to be like, hey, like, let's do this project. But if I ever come to him and say, hey, I want to do this project, he's never told me no. Like, he's always willing to help me with it and support me with it and do whatever I need him to do to make it happen. So when I wanted to do the garden, it was neither here nor there for him. He could care less if we had a garden or not. But I wanted it, and so he did everything I asked him to do to help it happen, from building the boxes to helping me pick up the cattle panels from Tractor Supply and getting those installed for my arches. And you said earlier that if you needed help installing fencing, you'd help with that.
Yeah, because the animals that you want.
With all the animals I want. And you know what? I'll take it. If you're willing to help me build fences, that's cool. I accept.
Then I'm done.
He doesn't want to be involved so much with the actual thing, but he'll help me manage the thing. And I think that's fine. Somebody else asked, did you grow up cooking and baking? Yes, but not to the scale that you have seen. I remember, so my mom always made sure that we knew how to do basic things. I don't remember her teaching me, but I remember watching her teach my little sister how to cook an egg. I remember her teaching me. I remember vividly her saying, okay, it's time for you to start learning how to make meals. I'm going to teach you how to make lasagna skillet. I remember that. And I remember being so honored that she thought I was like old enough to make like a dinner. And it was so she's always made sure that we knew how to like cook and bake for ourselves, but never to the extent. I'm sure that if we had expressed interest in it at the time, she absolutely would have helped cultivate that skill. I don't think any of us really sat down and were like, we really want to take this to the next level. But yeah, I did grow up cooking and baking. Did you grow up cooking and baking?
No. I grew up on TV dinners and Chef Boyardee.
He knows how to make eggs. He made them for me when I had COVID.
I did. Army eggs.
But you learned how to make those from your dad.
I did. You just put in anything you could find in the cupboard into eggs.
Army eggs.
Army eggs.
So, kinda grew up cooking. You could say.
Kind of.
Okay. How big of a space do y'all live in, and what animals do y'all have? So we live on a 1/4 acre property, and our house is, what, 1,500 square feet, I think?
It's about 1,800.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. 1/4 acre and 1,800 square foot house. Our house is pretty big, except our kitchen is tiny. It's a galley kitchen, and the house is not laid out very efficiently. I would much rather have a ranch style home than a 2-story, just because I don't go upstairs unless I like absolutely have to. And so I'd rather have that space kind of more spread out down here. And I'd like to have like a pantry space and like things like that. But overall, we've got pretty good space. And then tell them about our pets. You already know about the chickens. They want to know what animals we have.
Oh, I don't know if you've been seeing during the video, they're throwing a ball to Benny over here.
And this is our
This is our Aussie.
Yeah.
This is Benny Blue.
Australian Shepherd, Benny Blue. He is turning, is he going to turn 3? Oh, Ben. He's turning 3 in March.
Yep.
5 days after his dad.
Yep, and he's our child because when I come home, there's toys everywhere, and I'm like, we do have a child?
We love him. He is definitely our kid. And then
Yes.
tell him about the cats.
We have 2 cats, an orange one and a rag doll. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The orange one is Cheeto, and the rag doll is Figgy, which they're over here just
Yeah, in their
hanging
cat
out
tree.
on their cat tree.
His name is Figaro, but we never ever call him that. I call him Fig or Figgy.
Yeah, I call him Figgy.
Sometimes I call him Figathy. Yeah. Cheeto was the one that I was having to give subcutaneous fluids to. We kind of like slowly weaned him off everything, and we just wanted to see, you know, would he stabilize if we weren't giving him any of this stuff? And he's
I mean, he's still acting
doing
like
okay.
a cat.
Eating and drinking and playing.
He doesn't seem very, like, distant or anything.
No, yeah, he seems to be doing okay. Knock on wood. So hopefully he continues to do okay. And then those were the chicken questions. This is fun! Okay, so somebody asked, what was your easiest and your hardest video to make? And I forgot to look that up. I wanted to go through my videos and see. I know that my hardest video to make was the massive preservation day. And in the title it says, I may have tackled too much. That was a really difficult video because I was learning how to manage my time and also how to like film those projects in a way where they were really concise for you guys, but it ended up being so long that I had to cut it into 2 videos. And I was really disappointed with myself. I was like, man, I should be able to like put this together in a nicer way. But you know, I wasn't too hard on myself because that's all part of learning. You know, this is my first 100 videos, and that was within my first year of having a channel, and I'm gonna grow and get more efficient as I do it. So I think my preservation videos this season will be quicker and more efficient. My easiest video, probably vanilla extract. It's just a few simple steps. It's very, very, very easy to make. The only thing that gave that any time whatsoever was me trying to convince you to make your own vanilla extract by giving you some numbers and some facts. That was a really easy one. This one says, what has been the most rewarding and the most challenging part of your YouTube homesteading journey so far? The most rewarding and the most challenging has been, I decided to make a YouTube channel about homesteading and gardening and cooking and all of those things. And I think what's been the most challenging and also the most rewarding has been accepting how big of a deal those things are to me, how much they mean to me, how passionate I am about them. Whereas I kind of went into it thinking it was more a hobby. And as time went on, as I did this, I learned that it was really more a lifestyle choice that I wanted to make. That's been rewarding, but it's also been challenging because it has forced me to kind of change the way my mind works and my perception of a lot of things. And it has made me very discontent with the whole normal day job, eating out, processed foods. Like those are hurdles you have to get over when you've decided to live your life like this. And so those are lessons that I've been learning, and hurdles that I've more or less created for myself on this journey that I've had to overcome, and I'm still working on overcoming them. Opening my eyes to the whole organic food situation, that was a hurdle, and it was challenging, but it's also been very rewarding. And so I would say that that would be the most challenging and the most rewarding part of being on this journey, both YouTube and homesteading, is that it's opened my eyes to so many things that I've had to actually process and make decisions about myself. And another question that from the same person that asked that one, what advice can you offer others that want to follow in your footsteps? So I'm assuming because they were asked together that they're referring to YouTube and homesteading. And so with YouTube, I'd say that you need to make sure that what you are choosing to make content about, you're very passionate about. Because I'll tell you right now, it's a lot of work. And if you're not passionate about it, you're gonna give up. The only thing that's kept me, well, one of the only things that's kept me really going for as long as I have been with this and having the fuel and the fire to keep going even further, is that I love what we're doing. I love the content I'm making, and I'm gonna be making it anyway. So why not turn the camera on? So you have to make sure, you know, if you had a channel about cars, if you had a channel about gaming, if you had a channel about you know, homesteading and farming, makeup, food, whatever it is, you have to make sure that it's something that you really want to be doing. In terms of homesteading, any advice that I'd give you is to just be really easy on yourself and don't compare yourself to other people. Because when you go on Instagram, there's going to be 100 people who are way farther along in the journey than you are, who have big, beautiful pantries full of brightly colored canned foods, and you're going to be like, well, I can't do that. Well, you don't have to. It takes years to build up to that. So if you want to start homesteading and if you want to start YouTube, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't play the comparison game, and just go at your own speed. And then next, so we're at the end and we just have our questions for each other.
Okay.
And I want to answer your question for me first because yours is more positive and I'd rather end on a positive note. So Tom's question for me, and we gave them to each other ahead of time so that we could think about them. His question for me was, what made you want to start this journey and change paths from radiology to farmer? Because he was very present for that shift. And I don't think either of us really saw it coming. And he's been so wonderful and patient with me as I've made this shift, because I didn't come in at the beginning of our relationship or, you know, even in the middle and say, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to want to be a farmer, just so you know. And so he's had to watch me kind of go through this and evolve. And then he's had to kind of accept what that's looked like the chickens and eating all of my kitchen experiments. And now we're planning on trying to purchase a property with land, and that affects him just as much as it affects me. And so first I'll say that I'm very grateful to you for, going on that journey with me and letting it unfold the way that it did and not giving me a hard time about it.
You're welcome.
But the answer to the question is very deep. So I'll say that going back to what got me into gardening, gardening was kind of my safe space, and I used it as a bit of an escape previously. And then I kind of let it go, because once I got out of that situation and I moved out of Kentucky to New York and I wasn't in that relationship anymore, and I was able to kind of find myself, I didn't need gardening anymore. I didn't need it for what I was using it for in the past, because it was almost my coping mechanism. And so I let it go for a long time. And it wasn't until Tom and I moved into this house that I was like, oh wow, I've got my own yard. I can start gardening up again. And I went into it much healthier than I went into it the first time. And I think it's really nice that it came back to me at all. That desire to get my hands in the dirt, it came from a different place this time, and I thought that was really nice. And then I think that what made me make the switch from radiology to farming was that I realized, as you provided for me a safe space, a safe, supportive space for me to become the person that I actually am, instead of me constantly being in this fight or flight survival mode, it gave me and my heart the opportunity to really cultivate what actually interests me. And I was actually given the time and the space to think about that and focus on that and let that grow and blossom inside of me. And so I started gardening, and then I really wanted the chickens, and it made me kind of fall into this world that I'm in now. And I think God had a lot to do with it as well. And I think that he put these passions on my heart for a reason. And I think he's the one that gifted me this vision for what I have for the future. And so I give all the glory to God, but I also have to give a lot of the credit to you, because you created this safe space for me to freely be able to say, hey, this really interests me. And instead of it being something that I'm not able to focus on or put any of my time on, you said, actually, you're safe and you can do whatever it is that you want to do, whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you feel good. And if it's farming and gardening and whatever, then why not? You have all the ability in the world to do those things. And so I definitely think that radiology had always been my plan. Even in my previous relationship, I was in college for it then. I just didn't get to do the program until I came here. That was always the plan, because that was safe. That was the path that was the easiest. This path is not easy. This path is challenging, and it's going to take a lot of time for us to get, to the land and the animals and stuff like that. But I definitely am living a life now, praise God, where I'm able to have interests and I'm able to chase dreams. And I think that that's awesome. And I thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Opportunity. I really enjoy the life that we've created, and I think that it's such a journey, and it's going to continue to be a journey. But it's been fun so far.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey. And then my question for you, way less deep, way easier to answer. What is something that you think you would enjoy about living on land? Because that's what I want so badly, is to own acreage. So I know that you're really supporting that more for me, but it would be yours too. So what's something that you think you'd really like about being on land?
It would actually be fun if you got some toys to drive around and do whatever you want on your land, to be honest. That's the fun part of having land, is you can do whatever you want.
Oh, totally.
I just, someday I would like a pole barn full of cars and toys, and just ride them through the woods and make trails, and then do whatever. I mean, take the dog, I'll just let them just run. Someday they have kids and they can get dirty and hurt themselves and then get back up and do it again.
Yep. So it's funny because Tom and I grew up totally differently. I grew up you know, in Kentucky, rural, and we lived in different places, but one of the places we lived was, you know, like the horse farm, and then we lived in another place that had a pretty good sized lot, and he grew up in the same house his whole life in the city, and he had a great childhood. He'll tell you, like, you loved your childhood, but they were drastically different. And so, I mean, we always had dirt bikes, we always had four-wheelers, and I distinctly remember taking shovels of dirt and building my own little jumps for the dirt bike. So I'd hit them full force and jump them. And I did that on my own. Like, that was me making my own entertainment for myself.
I did the same, just with skateboarding and doors on the side of the road.
Yeah. So, you know, I definitely think that not only would you enjoy that, but any future kids we had would just enjoy the freedom of being a country kid and being able to do those things, ride the dirt bikes and stuff like that. So
mowing a lot of lawn. I said that wrong, didn't I?
No, mowing the lawn. And then you'd like it because we'd get you a zero turn. You'd have fun.
Yeah, that's true. Put an exhaust on it.
Well, we wouldn't have any neighbors to upset, so you can do whatever you want. Well, you guys, I think that this has been a really fun Q&A. Thank you for being in this video with me.
You're welcome.
And I'm blown away that the next video I put up after this one will be number 101. That's crazy. I can't believe I have 100 videos. I think it's really cool. And I'm still, you know, figuring it out. I'm still not there yet. I still have, you know, less than 1,000 subscribers. And, you know, my videos are averaging anywhere from 30 views to 3,000 views. It's all over the board. But I'm very patient, and I think that this is, not only is it fun, but it's worth doing what I'm doing here. And so, you guys, I thank you for your questions. I thank you for your support. If you're somebody who often likes my videos or comments on my videos, I thank you for the engagement with my content. If you like my content and you're interested in me creating more, please do that. Please give it a like or comment, because any engagement that you make with my channel tells YouTube, hey, people like this, and they'll push me more and it'll help me grow. So please, you know, if you're interested, do that. If you're watching this and you're new to my channel and you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. As you can tell, we're just starting out. We're in the very beginning of this journey. This is my second year homesteading, my second year with my garden. We want to move. We want to have land. I want to have animals. And so, you know, there's so much more to come. And like I said before, you know, I'm a Christian. I believe very much in, you know, I have a path, we have a path, and I think that this vision and these passions have been put on me for a reason, and I have all the faith in the world that we're going to see it come to fruition. So subscribe if you have not already, if you're interested in any of that, and I thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today while we did this Q&A.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Be blessed, my friends. Bye.